Good afternoon. In this video, we're going over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the video, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in the bio section of social media. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also like to mention that every morning before the market opens, I do put a trade idea list out of 3 stocks. That's it, just 3. I don't want 10 or 12 like other paid rooms that just put out a bunch of things so you have to watch 10 things at once. I keep it simplified and simple. Just 3 best looking setups I like in the morning, and that way you only have to watch 3 things, and if they hit, they hit. If they don't, I just wait for something else to hit later in the day, and I like to focus on 1 or 2 plays throughout the day. I don't like to overcomplicate things. I like to simplify things. I know a lot of people are newer to trading, and when you're starting out at trading or even trying to learn the ropes, you don't need to overcomplicate it and watch 50 things at once. And so the whole purpose of the trade ideas is to simplify it, like I said, and to see the play before it happens 90% of the time. Sometimes circumstances happen and that you can't just warn in advance because of like news event or something like that. So with that said, I don't have much on the bearish side. I have a little more on the bullish side. On the economic calendar, we have a preliminary GDP on Thursday morning. Then we have the Jackson Hole starting Thursday. And we have Powell speaking Friday at 10 a.m. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And I'm sure that will have an impact on the market. But with that said, I think that without anything really happening this week, unless something just news related happens in Afghanistan or any other event that happens, that I think the market's just going to end up grinding up slowly. So have to just be prepared that the market could either just chop or grind slowly up. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be back at all-time highs probably tomorrow or Tuesday. So definitely watch for that. I do like to play SPY a lot on Monday, so that's why you need to be in the room, because the gap ups and the gap downs change the plays and change what I'm looking at and change how I'm going to approach it. So okay, I'll just start with CAT. First of all, the bearish side. CAT, I'm looking at this and it's just hovering on this 203 area, and if it does manage to break that, because I was actually looking at this, I took this on Friday thinking it was going to do it on Friday. Maybe it happens this week, but it does break below this 203 area. It's going to probably go to 200. And if it does manage to break 200, you've got this area right here of 195. Then you've got 190 and 180. So CAT could possibly drop to 190 possibly. So we'll have to see if that actually happens. But I'll end up watching it in the other direction too. If it does start to look bullish over 208, I might grab it there too. So now Microsoft has been extremely strong the last couple of days, and a lot of people will be like, why would you want to step in front of that? And one of the things I am seeing that is way outside the Keltner channel on the hourly and on the daily, a full body candle outside. And usually when you have that happen, like right here, it does manage to pull back a little bit. And the RCT trend line right here on the weekly is at 266. So I don't think Microsoft will go down to 266, but we could definitely see 285, 300, 285. We get a little bit of a gap right here at 297. Then you get 295. So we could end up seeing Microsoft coming back and retesting the 290 area before going higher. So we'll have to see if that actually happens or not. Now on the bullish side, there's a lot of like reversals coming up that I'm watching for. Is Roku is one of them. Roku's been just getting hammered, and on the daily, it's just got a descending wedge going on. You can see it You can draw it right there, and you can draw it right there. So if it does manage to get over this, we'll say 358. Well, we won't even say 350. We'll say 355, 360. Then you got 380, and you got 400. I would not be a bit surprised if Roku turns around, ends up getting a bounce. I'm sure it's going to be probably pretty strong. So anytime it gets oversold like this, it's going to have a strong bounce. Like the last time, it was the RSI was right around 30. That was right here, and it had a strong bounce. It took a couple of weeks, but it went from 275 to 350. So we could definitely see a 400, 410 move on Roku. So definitely have to watch that. Roku's always been one that has strong moves when it gets momentum behind it. Win's just been getting hammered on. It's like gap support right here. I would watch it for a reversal, but it could fill the gap too. It could actually go right down to 80 or even down to 270. So I'm gonna watch this for a reversal too. So if it gets over like we'll say 90 for push to 90, 92, and you get 94. You get a gap right here in the 95, 96, 98. You gap here right in the 98, 50, 99. 100 will probably be a big psychological number, so it could probably stall out at 100. So I would watch Win. Baba, I know the China stocks have been getting hammered on by the government, but I can't believe that Baba is down here at the 157, 158 area, and the weekly is just so exaggeratingly oversold. The weekly RSI is like 26, and the daily is like 20, and you can see right here you get a bullish divergence going on in the RSI, the histogram. So I would be surprised if this goes any lower, but I'm be watching it over 160 for a push to 167, 166. 166, 167. You get a gap fill right here, 169, 170, 172. You get another gap fill. Those are a lot of gaps. You get right here the 170 area, the 180 area. You get quite a few gaps on the way down from this China mess. So I would watch a push to 180 possibly this week, or even 200 if it gets any momentum behind it. I mean, anytime that they have an exaggerated move like these deep red candles on the weekly, ends up having a bounce right here. So that's one thing I'm looking at. Now Netflix, I was actually thinking about putting it on the bearish side, but I keep looking at it and I keep thinking that it just keeps touching this 550 area and getting rejected. It's gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, several times right here, here. So the more it touches, the more I think it's gonna break. It could pull back to the 535 before getting over the 550. So I would definitely watch that. Now I'll be watching in both directions too. So if it does manage to fail and end up having a retracement, that I would play that too. But I mean, Netflix has been stuck in this 480 to 550 range since June 2020 for almost a year, I don't know, 14, 15 months. So it's got to get out of this area at some point. So whether it's up or down, it's just been having massive chop. Well, I wouldn't say chop. Those are actually a pretty good range, but it's been having massive consolidation right here. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it does manage to break out over the 550, 560 area, that it gets rushed to 575, 580. And if it does manage to break that, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing 600 on Netflix. So have to see what happens on that. Nvidia had a nice day on Friday and Thursday. So it looks like it's getting ready to break out on the daily and the weekly for new all-time highs. I mean, it's at 208.16 and the all-time high is 208.75. So I would watch it over Friday's high of, we'll just round up to 209. That's probably going to push to, what is the range on this? Yeah, there's an $8 range. So if it does manage to go over 209, it's probably gonna make a push to 220 this week. So I would definitely watch Nvidia for a push to 220. Now I don't usually watch Snap that much, but I've been kind of keeping an eye on it here and there. And then it is kind of chopping, consolidating right here, right on the RCT trend line. So if it does manage to get over this, we'll say 73 for a push to 74.50, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. Then you get 80. So I would watch for a reversal on Snap and those levels, especially over the 73 area. Now I have BA. Now BA, I have mixed feelings about. I just have it on there because it had a lot of red days in a row, and you don't usually see BA have that many red days because like right here, it's had a lot of red days and it had a bounce. So I'm thinking that we're going to have a bounce this week. So I'd watch it over 215 for push to 220. 223. Then you get a gap fill right here at 229. So 230. Another gap right here in the 233 area to 235. And you get 240. So I would keep an eye on BA. I think BA could possibly have a reversal week. It's also getting away from the middle of the RCT trend line. Anytime it gets away from it, it ends up getting pulled back to it. So that's what I'm thinking. So got away from it, got pulled down to it now. It's really disconnected from it. So I expect it at least go to 225 in the next week or two. So pins is another one. Pins, it's just been going down slowly. So I think that eventually it's going to end up bouncing. I thought it was going to bounce last week, but it didn't. Sold off even more. So I'd watch it over 55 for a push to 57. 57.50 has been the area to really watch. Then you get this gap resistance right here at 60.50. So I would, if I had to guess, if it does end up bouncing, it's probably going to end up going to 60.50, the gap resistance, and stalling out and possibly making a inverted head and shoulders. So you get the left shoulder here, the head, and if it does manage to go up there, you're going to have another right shoulder right there. So then it would probably end up breaking and filling the gap. But that's just reaching right now. We'll have to see if it actually happens, if that does do that. Twitter is the last one I'm watching. Twitter, somehow I managed to put that in. Now Twitter, it is underneath the RCT trend line on the weekly. It's at the bottom of the Keltner channel, so I am kind of watching for that. It's oversold on the RSI. It came down here to close to 30. Yeah, it did actually hit 30. So and the stochastics is considered oversold. So it looks like it could have a nice possible reversal right here. So I would watch it over 63 for push to 64, 65, 66, 67. You get the 68 level. Get a pretty big 68 level right here. So we'll have to see if that will actually end up happening. Now, the ranges on Twitter are only like $3. Yeah, they're about $3, $2 to $3. So there's not that much range on them, but the options are pretty cheap, and they move pretty good for a smaller ATR, which is average true range. So yeah, I think that Twitter could end up having a nice bounce this week too. So there's a lot to watch on the bull side. Now, like I said, the gap ups and the gap downs have been pretty significant lately, so they could definitely change the dynamic of the play. That's why you need to be in the room and make adjustments based on what happens overnight, the gap ups, any news or anything like that. So that's going to do it for the watch list. Hope to see you in the room, and thanks for watching.